2-2-2. We'll keep you updated on your thoughts throughout the pay-per-view. Let's move ahead. This war has started way before tonight. Charles McCarthy says Bisping is average. Bisping says McCarthy is a fat BJJ guy. Tonight, only one will have the final word. Britain's Michael the Count Bisping became a star in the UFC at light heavyweight. Tonight, he makes his debut in the middleweight division and promises to be even better at 185 pounds. Chainsaw Charles McCarthy plans to have something to say about that.
He's got the name to go with it. He's got the marketing behind him. You know, he's the #1 guy in England that the UFC is trying to break into their market. But he's the biggest name, worst fighter out there.
If he is of the mindset that all these fighters are handpicked for me, then surely he's forgetting that maybe he's just the next one that's handpicked. That he's going to get destroyed, just like the rest of them then.
When McCarthy finished up his stint on The Ultimate Fighter 4 and took less than a round to submit Gideon Ray in the season finale, the Floridian seemed to be on his way to big things on his way back up the middleweight ladder. But injuries kept him on the sidelines for over a year. Tonight, he knows that one win over a rising star like Bisping will make up for lost time in a hurry.
He hasn't had that point in his head where he's like, crap, my arm's breaking, I gotta quit. He hasn't had that feeling of having to wake up after getting hit. You know, this is something that I'm gonna change for him.
A fighter who gave up size to almost all of his opponents at light heavyweight, Bisping still managed to put together a 15-1 record fighting at 205 pounds, with the only loss a razor-thin decision to Rashad Evans. But it was after this defeat that Bisping decided that he needed to compete on a level playing field. Tonight, he begins his attack on the middleweight division with the same fire that has made him a UFC fan favorite.
Fingers crossed after tonight, we can maybe put together a little highlight reel of various different knockouts against Charles McCarthy.
Well, in the Ultimate Fighter house, he was known as Captain Miserable Charles McCarthy. Trying to smile here, Kenny, but I will tell you one thing, he's extremely confident as he enters the octagon tonight. Even though he hasn't fought in nearly 16 months, he had knee surgery to repair an ACL, LCL, and meniscus damage after his fight against Gideon Ray back in November of '06. But one thing that cannot be ignored is that he's out of American Top Team, and he has tremendous jiu-jitsu.
No doubt about it. He's got some slick submissions, good wrestling. He believes his striking has improved tremendously. Training at American Top Team, obviously has some awesome training partners. They probably had the most intense stare down yesterday at the weigh-ins that I've ever seen.
They had some words. They've had words back and forth. Allegedly, McCarthy fired first. Bisping, not surprisingly, had plenty to say back. All 10 wins of his mixed martial arts career have come by submission for Charles McCarthy. And he relies heavily on his strength as he enters the octagon again, and that is, as previously mentioned, his ability to submit people. Chainsaw Charles McCarthy entering the octagon to try to take out Michael Bisping and spoil Bisping, the Count's UFC middleweight debut. Fighter 3 at 205 pounds, Michael the Count Bisping has trained a lot in Huntington Beach, California with Quentin Rampage Jackson and the camp led by Renato Ribeiro preparing for this fight. Bisping knows that he has pushed McCarthy's buttons. Now he wants to send the ultimate message, and that is to leave McCarthy defeated.
You know, some people were doubting whether Bisping would be able to make the weight comfortably. He really did. He looked phenomenal at the weigh-in, looked fresh, bouncing up and down. He looks ready to go. He believes this is the best Michael Bisping that we will see.
Michael Bisping is 6'2", so now he all of a sudden goes from an average-sized, if not undersized, light heavyweight to a man who is a very large 85 and should a lot of times have a size and strength advantage.
No doubt about it. He's a big 185er. He's adding a lot of quality to this tough 185 division.
McCarthy, I mentioned, all 10 wins in his career by submission. 14 of the 16 fights that Bisping has had, victories indeed, have been by strikes. The fight against Matt Hammer was the first time Bisping went the distance, and now tonight he wants to send a message not only to his new enemy McCarthy, but to the entire UFC middleweight division. Our tale of the tape for this middleweight matchup is brought to you by the only motorcycles worthy of being in the octagon. Harley-Davidson. The Brit, Michael Bisping, 29 years old, 2 years the elder of Charles McCarthy, and there you see a great example right here. At middleweight, with that 75.5-inch reach, he will have a definitive reach advantage over McCarthy. Bruce Buffer with the introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC middleweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner. This man is a mixed martial artist, holding a professional record of 10 wins with 4 losses. Standing 5 feet 11 inches tall, weighing in at 186 pounds. Fighting out of Coconut Creek, Florida, Chainsaw Charles McCarthy. And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a ballet judo fighter holding a professional record of 15 wins with 1 loss. He stands 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighing in at 185.5 pounds. Fighting out of Manchester, England, he is the light heavyweight winner of Ultimate Fighter Season 3. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael the Cab Bisping. And when the action begins, our referee in charge of the octagon is Philip Chartier.
Bisping looks great at 185. Philip Chartier, our referee. Michael Bisping.
He is ripped and ready to go. He says he's faster than ever before. In order to stay at that weight, you have to train harder, to be harder on his diet. He looks great.
Our fight clock brought to you by ABPR Unrated on DVD and Blu-ray today. Here we go. Red trunks for Bisping, white trunks for McCarthy. Let's see if McCarthy tries to get this fight down to the ground quickly.
Bisping looks really fluid, very fast.
Now he can't take you down, Bisping. That comes out of the corner of Michael Bisping, of course.
Charles is throwing some big overhand lefts and rights.
He's got that open-handed defense.
Bisping knows he needs to take this fight to the ground. Bisping's obviously very comfortable on the feet. He's going to avoid the takedowns by circling, using his jab.
Good knees. 4, and a huge uppercut. McCarthy having a little fun inside the octagon.
He's taking it to McCarthy. McCarthy's frustrated here, just throwing big bombs.
McCarthy has tried that overhand right twice. The punch that Chuck Liddell made famous.
Chuck Liddell measures a little bit better than that, but Charles has to use his takedowns to get him, has to use his strikes to take him down. He doesn't want to trade with Bisping for too long, I'll tell you that right now.
McCarthy with his antics inside the octagon towards Bisping, does that bother Bisping at all, or can he ignore it?
Bisping's a professional. He's been in there many times before. Having fought at 205, he's got to have a lot of confidence coming in here, fighting at 185.
He looks so quick here, Kenny.
You can see the comfort level. Bisping putting together combinations. McCarthy kind of just throwing some big bombs, just one punch at a time, one kick at a time. Bisping looks really smooth.
McCarthy doing a good job defensively, though. Bisping again with a knee in and an uppercut.
Bisping is picking him apart, going to the body, going upstairs, going to the clinch.
His movement just seems so much more fluid.
Absolutely, absolutely. He's moving his head, he's in and out, very light on his feet. Nice stuff from Bisping.
Good support of the Brit here in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. More knees and an elbow, and a big takedown by Charles McCarthy.
Couldn't McCarthy have been making him feel comfortable to set up that takedown? Beautiful drive. He got in on his hips and then drove to finish that double leg takedown. Nice job by McCarthy. He's got him up against the fence. He's gonna try to work ground and pound and set up a submission.
Bisping in the half guard of Charles McCarthy.
McCarthy wants to push down on that knee, try to get to mount, try to get the side mount. Doing a good job. He's kind of just playing a jiu-jitsu game. He's not really throwing too many punches. That's gonna make Bisping feel pretty comfortable here, and he's gonna get back to his feet. Bisping's gonna get back to his feet. He's gotta be careful not to get his back taken.
McCarthy's
trying to go for an arm lock. He's working an arm lock.
Plenty of time remains in the round, 1 minute 50 seconds. Fight scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. This is where McCarthy is the best. We said as he entered the octagon, Kenny, he relies very heavily on his strengths, and this is his strength, submitting his opponent.
McCarthy has that leg over the face of Bisping. Bisping needs to be careful. He's got it pretty tight. He's got to keep that arm bent. He does not want that arm to straighten out. He's trying to shuck it off, kind of shake it through. Bisping staying nice and calm here. He knows what he needs to do here.
Allegedly, McCarthy said he was going to do a little damage to the arm of Michael Bisping, which fueled the fire and the emotions at yesterday's weigh-ins.
Bisping's working that elbow joint out of the hips of
McCarthy,
and he's out. Beautiful job.
Beautiful job. Quickly, too. So McCarthy with a big takedown, but he couldn't finish Bisping. Bisping continues. Good combinations by Michael Bisping.
That's got to be frustrating for McCarthy. Did a great job getting him down. Couldn't finish that submission. Bisping's opening up on him now. Bisping's measuring him with that jab and setting up that backhand uppercut. Going to the body of McCarthy.
Oh, just teeing away is Michael Bisping. McCarthy surviving so far.
We saw McCarthy get dropped to the body with the Loazo spinning back kick.
Down he goes!
Bisping dropped him.
Trying to finish a fight. 12 seconds left in the round. Will McCarthy make it? He's still moving around, still defending himself. And Charles McCarthy is going to survive.
Nice heart by McCarthy there.
Wow. How good does Michael Bisping look? It's over. It's all over.
McCarthy is holding his arm. Looks like he's holding his forearm.
One of those knees, Kenny, could have done a lot of damage. One of those many knees to the forearm of Charles McCarthy.
You could be right. He was covering up. He had to defend those knees with his arms. Those knees may have done the damage. Here it is right here. Absolutely. It was those knees right to the forearms. Better to get hit in the forearm than the head. He tried his best. Couldn't defend properly.
You know, you always talk about bad blood and gamesmanship. As you see the knees in the finish here by Michael Bisping. Charles McCarthy just came over, congratulated Michael Bisping, gave him the timeout, and said, congratulations, you were the better man today. And I'll tell you what, this Brit is really, really strong at 185 pounds. I have never seen Michael Bisping look as good as he did tonight.
Gotta keep the sponsors happy. Gotta keep the sponsors happy. Thanks, Tap Out.
Everybody wondering who might be next for Anderson Silva.
Everyone.
Rich Franklin, Travis Luter want to be there, of course, but perhaps Michael Bisping will have something to say about all of that. Bruce Buffer with the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after the first round, Charles McCarthy could not continue the fight. Therefore, referee Philip Chartier has called a stop to this contest, declaring la gagnant and winner by TKO, Michael the Cat Bisping.
Another great show of class and respect. Yep, and Bisping knows he caught him in the forearm with one of those knees, and Michael Bisping will visit with Kenny Florian.
Michael Bisping, phenomenal performance. Yeah, there was some bad blood going on between both of you guys. McCarthy said he was gonna break your arm. He had your arm at one point. What were you thinking when he had that arm bar?
Well, to be honest, I mean, I know the escape, I had the defence in, but I was still thinking, I shouldn't be in this position. No, this isn't exactly the game plan, but fortunately my training paid off. I managed to escape it. Full credit to Charles. There was a bit of back, you know, bit of trash, whatever. It's the fight business, it happens, you know, I don't take it personally. I hope Charles as well, and we can share a drink later.
My eyes, you look great at 185. How'd you feel for the training for this, the weight cut, coming in here and fighting in front of these amazing fans right here in Montreal?
I've been practicing. J'ai vu c'est Montréal. Merci beaucoup. Merci, merci. 185, you know, I've always been a middleweight, but I suppose my stubborn manliness, whatever you want to call it, got in the way. I prefer fighting the bigger guys, but this is my natural weight class. I feel great. I didn't have to cut any weight. I didn't put sweatsuit on. I didn't get in a sauna. I didn't do none of that, you know. So I'm excited to see what I can do at 185. You know what I mean? I'm establishing myself in the weight class. I've done that tonight, you know, so let's see what the future brings. I want to fight the best guys out there. I want to prove myself. You know, I'm still maturing in the sport, and, you know, I'm learning all the time. You know, I learned another lesson tonight. You know, I just want to say thanks, everybody. Thank all my sponsors, all my team, everyone who helped me train. Thank you. Merci.
I see a great future for you, man. Congratulations.
Michael the Count Bisping, the first Brit to headline a UFC. That was UFC 78 versus Rashad Evans, and he wins his first middleweight matchup inside the octagon. Goes to 16-1 overall in his mixed martial arts career. Thousands and thousands have been hurt already, but there's still plenty of time. So far, an overwhelming amount of our voters think George St-Pierre will become the undisputed welterweight champion. Don't forget, you can vote online at UFC.com or text A for Sarah, B for GSP to 88222. Our text voting all night brought to you by Tap Out. Tap Out, American, arrogant, and in your face. Watch Tap Out in their crazy second season starting this June. Speaking of starting, what a start to the night here in front of a record-setting crowd at the Bell Center in Montreal. Coming up later tonight from here at the Bell Center in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, former middleweight champion Rich Ace Franklin faces Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt Travis Lutter. So that fight is coming up later tonight here at the Bell Center. And here's what's coming up inside the octagon. Every Wednesday this spring, it's the Ultimate Fighter, Team Rampage versus Team Forrest. Then on Saturday, May 24th, from the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, it's UFC 84, Ill Will. BJ the Prodigy Penn takes on Sean the Muscle Shark Shirk. Also that night, Tito Ortiz faces Lyoto the Dragon Machida, and the Axe Murderer Vanderlei Silva returns to the octagon to go toe-to-toe with Keith Jardine. UFC 84, live Saturday, May 24th, only on pay-per-view. The UFC returns to the UK on Saturday, June 7th from the O2 Arena in London, England. UFC 85, live on pay-per-view. Tickets are still available. Then it's back to Las Vegas in the Mandalay Bay Event Center for UFC 86 as Quentin Rampage Jackson faces Forrest Griffin. Saturday, July 5th. Tickets are still available. And that's what's coming up inside the octagon. Coming up right now inside the Bell Center, Montreal, Quebec, Canada, another middleweight matchup as Ultimate Fighter veterans collide. And yes, I would believe the Canadian from Surrey, British Columbia, Caleb Starnes, will be the fan favorite as he matches up with the survivor, Ultimate Fighter 1 vet, Nate Rock Quarry. After almost 2 years on the sidelines due to injury, former world title challenger Nate Quarry returned to the octagon in style last September. He hopes to keep the momentum going tonight against British Columbia's favorite son, Caleb Starnes.
It's a pleasure for me to be here fighting in Quebec, and I love the city of Montreal, and I'm going to put on the best show I can.
Well, I'm looking at this fight just to be another opportunity to show why I'm here in the UFC, why I was able to come back and compete against such a tough competitor as Pete Sill and still come out with a victory.
The 33-year-old Starnes enters the octagon not only looking to erase the memory of a controversial loss to Alan Belcher last October, but to put on a show to remember for the Canadian fans who he hasn't fought in front of in over 2 years.
I'm gonna win by knockout or decision. I think it's gonna be a big surprise to him that I can outbox him and I'm faster than him.
Some thought Quarry would never fight again after back surgery following his 2005 loss to Rich Franklin. And after an exhaustive rehab, he came back last year and engaged in a war with Pete Sill before he put Drago away in the final round. Is he better than ever? Tonight's bout against Caleb Starnes may answer that question.
I think with my last fight from Pete Sill, I had to shake off some of the ring rust. I was coming off of a very long layoff. I had my back surgery. I was able to show that Nuvasiv made my back strong, that I'm here to fight. I belong in the UFC, and now I've been able to focus more on just building on what you saw last time.
Hold it now.
Nate Rock Quarry. Kenny, you remember very well, Ultimate Fighter 1. He was in his weight class, pretty much the guy everybody thought was going to walk away with the crown, not Forrest Griffin or Stephen Bonner. And then one of his own coaches rolled on his ankle, and that was the end of that dream.
You know, Quarry has overcome a lot from that ankle injury to the back injury. He's a tough, durable fighter. We saw that in this last fight against Pete Sill, and he wants to establish himself as a contender here in this division.
He likes to utilize punches to the body, unorthodox with his stand-up. His last 4 wins have been by KO or TKO. You know, he basically is a guy who's not a wrestler, but still possesses those skills, can submit. But what may be his best weapon is his pinpoint precision with his striking.
He throws punches from awkward angles, and if he lands that on your chin, people go down. And Quarry is more than happy to trade and brawl with you, but he possesses good wrestling skills. He's been training on the ground for 12 years, so he's seen it all in his career, and he's very well rounded and feels comfortable regardless of where this fight ends up.
Well, a longtime member of Team Quest, which, as we know, houses some of the finest fighters in mixed martial arts today. Now he fights out of what's called the Sports Lab in Gresham, Oregon. He is ready to leave the winner again tonight against Starnes. Born and raised in Surrey, British Columbia. Tonight, Starnes makes his first Canadian appearance since he defeated, ironically, Jason McDonald, who was also on the card here tonight, back in 2005 in beautiful Vancouver. Caleb Starnes has trained a lot in American Top Team in preparation, going back and forth from his home in Canada. He says he and Kenny, you talked to me about it earlier, has a new comfort level with his entire mixed martial arts arsenal.
Definitely, he's matured as a fighter. You don't just step into the octagon and feel comfortable, from day one. He's had his experience, he's had his ups and downs. He stepped up his game with his training with American Top Team, and he says it doesn't matter where this fight ends up. He feels comfortable as well, so this is potential for another barn burner here.
Good exchanges in his last fight in Cincinnati. It turned out to be a loss to Alan Belcher because of that nasty cut that was suffered by Starnes. That ended up actually getting really infected. He had to take about 3 months off, but still, we saw the ever-improving striking skills of Starnes against a pretty darn good striker in Belcher that night in the Queen City.
Even in his win against Chris Liebman, a very dangerous striker in his own right, he did a great job of staying in there, not getting hurt with many punches. He used a nice mixed bag of striking and wrestling and jiu-jitsu skills and pulled off what a lot of people thought was an upset win over Chris Liebman.
Starnes and Quarry are set to collide. Our tale of the tape is brought to you by the only motorcycles worthy of being in the octagon, Harley-Davidson. The Canadian Starnes from Surrey, British Columbia, 3 years younger than the Oregon boy, Nate Quarry. He's 36 years old. Everything else is virtually identical. Starnes is taller, but he actually does not have the reach advantage. Once again, here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the UFC middleweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist holding a professional record of 15 wins with 2 losses. Standing 6 feet tall, weighing in at 185.5 pounds. Fighting out of Gresham, Oregon, Nate Rock Quarry! And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner, a wrestler and jiu-jitsu fighter, holding a professional record of 10 wins with 3 losses and 1 draw. Standing 6 feet 3 inches tall, weighing in at 186 pounds. Fighting out of Surrey, British Columbia, Canada, Caleb Starr! And when the action begins, our referee in charge of this contest is Dan Mergliata.
Dan Mergliata, our referee, middleweight matchup in front of Ariane, Edith, and 21,000 plus, a new attendance record set tonight here in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. Another shout out to our good friend Joe Rogan, family obligations. He's not here tonight. I'm Octagon side with Kenny Florian, and here we go. Quarry in the black trunks and Caleb Starnes in the white trunks.
Quarry putting pressure on from the very beginning, trying to corner Caleb. Nice body shot by Quarry.
2 Ultimate Fighter veterans colliding here.
Quarry seems a lot looser than he has. He seems lighter on his feet. Usually pretty stiff, pretty unorthodox.
That's the one criticism, if there has been one, that somewhat robotic, if you will. We spoke of the Ultimate Fighters inside the Octagon. Now the Ultimate Fighter Team Rampage versus Team Force continues Wednesdays at 10 on Spike, Wednesdays and Fridays on Rogers Sportsnet here in Canada. Check your local listings.
Quarry is bringing this fight to Caleb. Caleb was running away from him at one point and turned into a running race at one point, and now Quarry has his back to the cage here, trying to avoid the takedown of Caleb Starnes. Quarry's throwing a lot of leg kicks. Doesn't usually throw as many leg kicks.
Well, he's been working his stand-up with Olympic champion Howard Davis Jr., and yeah, he's added the kicks from the knees, and the kicks as well to his arsenal. Quarry, as you said, very, very heavy-handed, but that's some head movement maybe we didn't see in the past. Definitely not when Rich Franklin tagged him.
He's gonna need that. A lot of times, Quarry, you know, he's a warrior. He takes a lot of shots in his fights. Now using head movement, you know, using the sweet science of boxing to hit and not be hit. Very nice head movement by Quarry.
We saw how long the legs of Starnes were a second ago. Inside leg kick on that left lead leg of Caleb Starnes from Nate Quarry.
This is the best Nate Quarry that I've seen as far as stand-up goes. He looks great. Caleb's kind of running away. Quarry's really putting the pressure on.
Starnes has never lost in his fights here in his home country. He has 1 draw in his fights here in Canada and looking to make a successful UFC Canadian debut here tonight.
Quarry's doing a great job of going to the
much more fluid, Kenny.
Yes. Mattserati, he just dropped him. Was it a slip?
A little bit of a slip, but he definitely took one there. Now Starnes trying to use the jab and reach out, get inside. Clinch, can he take him down?
Quarry's very good in the clinch. Obviously using his experience, training with Team Quest, bunch of good Greco-Roman wrestlers over there, and he is tough to take down.
Well, you watched him on a daily basis when you were a member of the Ultimate Fighter 1 before his injury. Everyone, fighters included, impressed with Nate Quarry.
One thing that stood out to me, as I said before, was that clinch fighting. He was excellent in the over-under position, the 50-50 position that Greco-Roman wrestlers are so well known for. And but he's added a lot more skills since then, Goldie.
Ever evolving, everyone inside this game of mixed martial arts, especially here in the UFC. Under 2 minutes remains in the first round. Fight scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. There's that front kick again. Oh, good combination put together by Quarry, and he continues to push. Quarry has Starnes backpedaling big time.
I'm not sure what Caleb's strategy is here. Quarry really bringing the heat, going upstairs, going downstairs with his punches, leg kicks. He looks awesome.
A great and historic night here tonight. Montreal for the first time. You can watch the unaired preliminary matchups shortly after tonight's event at UFC.com, all the post-fight interviews. Log on to UFC.com, and trust me when I tell you, we had some great prelims this evening. Knee from Starnes, but again, he's got Starnes in retreat mode, does Nate Quarry pretty much this entire first round. Just missed with that knee.
I don't know if he's trying to tire out Quarry by getting him to chase him, or if he's trying to get him to come forward and bait him in for a takedown.
Oh, we haven't seen him go for it yet, though, Kenny.
A little confused as to what he's trying to do. Quarry really is making this fight right now.
Can that actually tire out your opponent, what you talked about with the back pedal, making him chase you?
Absolutely. As busy as Quarry is, you know, he is in great shape, but, you know, he can only throw punches for so long and move for so long. It could tire Quarry out, but Quarry's continuing to go forward.
Landed that front kick, but answered by a good leg kick from Rock Quarry.
Nice, heavy leg kick by
And
Quarry. There it is again. He's landing that leg
up.
straight.
Wow, Nate Quarry looks so fluid tonight. A dominating first round turned in by Nate Quarry.
You know, with Caleb retreating like he is, those leg kicks could slow him down as we go into the second and third rounds.
Starnes needs a different game plan.
You got he's open for right hand. He's open for right hand. Every time you come in, you need one right hand. You need more right hand. Let those straight punches move. Straight shots. You're moving good. That part is good. Keep your range, throw more jabs, and land the right hand. Hook behind it. You're starting to frustrate. You're doing good. Take a deep breath. I got you. Understand? Yes. Yeah. He's hurt to the body. Okay. Double right or double left? Double right or double left. Overhand uppercut. He's there. Let's go. You're doing the right thing. Same thing.
Going to the body is definitely part of the strategy of Nate Quarry. You heard his corner say that. Quarry going to the body several times to the liver. And for Caleb, they're telling him to throw that right hand.
Oh, let's go. Fight, guys. Said you delivered one right hand that scored. Keep that jab going, get it started, and throw some more combinations. We saw a ton of combinations from Quarry. Starnes comes forward first.
Peppered that jab out, try to come through with that right hand that his corner told him about. Quarry's got some heavy hips. He's tough to take down.
Wow, you could see it right there, couldn't you, Kenny?
Absolutely.
Same spot.
Caleb has done nothing to check that kick at this point. He better start checking it, or that movement, that bounce that he has with boxing is going to go away pretty soon.
See if he goes again with the leg kick.
Quarry, well, the reason he's landing it is he's starting it. He's not just throwing the leg kick. He's setting it up with his jabs, with his crosses. He's throwing punches and bunches and finishing with a leg kick.
And again, see, set it up with his jab that time.
Excellent job by Quarry. He really looks great.
Your trainer, Mark Delagrati, says all the time, set it up, start in strong, finish strong.
Absolutely. Delagrati talks about it because it's much harder to counter that. It's much harder to counter it when you're just, you know, if you throw just a leg kick, it's easy to counter. You see it coming, you're telegraphing it, throwing the punches and coming and finishing with the leg kick makes it very difficult to block, even if you can block it.
And he buckled him again there. And as you pointed out, he hasn't really checked any of those kicks.
And it's slowing Caleb down now. It's starting to slow him down. He's not retreating like he was.
Quarry certainly the aggressor here, again in round two.
You know, if I was in Quarry's corner, I would advise him to kind of pin him up against the cage, try to take him down and slow him down on the ground. Maybe he's got a better shot at working his ground and pound, because Caleb's kind of running away from him here.
Boom, that's 5 strikes right there, Kenny. Leg kick right in the middle.
Very difficult to win a fight by retreating like that. Very difficult to win a fight by just continuously running away and going backwards.
Just missed with the left uppercut, did Quarry a moment ago.
Where were those kicks from Caleb early? He has a nice leg kick. Should have been throwing it early to slow Quarry down.
And we talked about his good display, even in a loss, of striking, his ever-improving striking skills against Belcher.
You know, it's one thing to work it in training and another to do it during a fight. You know, perhaps his comfort level isn't there yet. He is showing flashes of brilliance. He needs to be confident with his striking out there.
Setting up the leg kick again, Nate Corey. Tonight, welterweight championship will be contested.
Corey is killing him with that leg kick.
UFC 84, May 24th, MGM Grand Garden Arena. The UFC lightweight title fight will be the main fight. BJ Penn, Sean Sherk, Vanderlei Silva, Keith Jardine, Tito Ortiz, The Ultimate Cheetah. Available only on pay-per-view. Log on to 84.ufc.com. I'm guessing that Kenny Florian will be watching that main event pretty closely that night.
No doubt about it. Corey is killing him with that leg kick, opening himself up for a takedown, but he's back to his feet.
Immediately got back up, but finally he timed it, caught the leg, and took Corey down, but just for a millisecond.
Now that Corey's landing that leg kick, I would start to work the upstairs. I would start to work the head kick. Caleb does not like getting hit in the leg. Corey should start taking it upstairs and go up to his head. He's dropping that hand too. He should take it upstairs and surprise him with a head kick. Heavy hips by Corey, heavy hips.
And again, this looks like a brand new Nate Corey.
He looks great.
And it didn't seem just visibly by looking at him yesterday that the cut was very easy. You wondered if there would be some fatigue, but wow, does he really look improved here tonight inside the octagon. Especially adding in all those leg kicks, Kenny.
Caleb looks like he's kind of just giving him sparring practice, you know? He's kind of just in and out. He's not really coming at him with any real intensity or focus to finish the fight. He's kind of walking away here. You know, I'm not really sure what his game plan was for this fight.
Well, if this is sparring practice, Corey needs to stop kicking him in the leg so hard.
Corey's really being a jerk. He's going hard in that sparring session, I'll tell you that.
And again.
You can hear that slap, and he's landing that leg straight. It's like a baseball bat. You get hit with that thing on the leg enough times. I mean, think Charlie Horse times 10.
Remember years ago, we talked about Pedro Rizzo's vicious leg kicks. Now modern day, a kid like Thiago Alves has some vicious leg kicks. And it is, as you said, like a baseball bat landing on your thigh. Final 10 seconds of the second round. Fans not impressed with Canada's own Caleb Starnes, but they should be impressed with the performance of Nate Corey.
They can't be booing Nate Corey. Nate Corey's doing everything. He's doing everything possible to make this an exciting fight. And Caleb, the Canadians, just kind of circling away from him.
You know, Kenny, as you've talked about so far in the first 10 minutes of the fight, the key to the kicks and the success of the kicks of Corey have been the fact that he's set him up, he's mixed him up. He started with the jab, with the hands, he's finished with them. He's definitely not telegraphing anything, especially his kicks.
It's confusing him. Boom, he's going upstairs, he starts blocking the punches, opens up to a kick. He's doing it several times throughout the first and second round. It's gonna be interesting to see how it's effective, Caleb's movement, especially I don't see anybody massaging his legs. His legs are there stiff. No one's massaging his legs out. His legs aren't kicked out. That's when your legs start to stiffen up.
You know, maybe unfairly we forgot about Nate Corey because he was out so long with the back injury and stuff, but when you really look at it, he's lost only 2 times in his career overall. He's lost only 1 time in the UFC, and that just happened to be to middleweight champion Rich Franklin. Middleweight champion at the time, of course, in the title fight back at UFC 56.
No shame in that loss to Rich Franklin. He's a completely different fighter since then. As you can see, you know, Corey hasn't been sitting on the couch and eating potato chips since that fight. He's really got some great skills.
You know, again, that question has been answered. Who's next for Anderson Silva? You know, who might be in line? Travis Lutter wants another chance. He's got to beat Franklin, though. Franklin would love one, but he's lost twice, so Rich knows he'll have to wait. But Bisping comes out and looks tremendous. And now Corey at 185, as he has been for a long time, though, looks the best he ever has.
The 185-pound division is kind of wide open right now. Everyone's trying to look and try to get to that #1 contender spot. Corey sees that. You can see the hunger in his eyes. He's doing everything possible to take Caleb Starnes out of this fight. It's just tough to fight someone who doesn't want to fight.
Yeah, the demise of all of those that are going to compete against Anderson Silva may have been greatly exaggerated. 4 minutes remains. Starnes is going to look for a home run hit, Kenny. At least he should. There's no way he's going to walk away with a decision.
It's his only chance at this point. He's starting to drop those hands down. His legs are taking a beating. He's tough. He's tough. I mean, he's taking some shots, but you'll see how he's kind of lifting up that leg now. He's not moving as quickly and with that sense of urgency that he did early on. He's planting that leg, and it could get worse for his leg when the kicks keep coming.
Yeah, it's like a stiff leg now instead of, you know, the bend in the knee. And again, Corey, could this just simply be a case of the fact that, and I've heard you say it before, Starnes just could never find his range and get comfortable tonight?
No doubt about it, and you know, he keeps backing up. You know, I don't know how you can really get too much offense if you're backing up like that. Corey's really just picking them apart, you know, coming with just a variation of strikes, and you know, if Caleb sits low in his head like that, I think Corey should go up to a tie clinch position, try to take him out with some knees coming up right to the chin.
Very few can be offensive in a defensive position. Chuck Liddell's good at it, backing up and still being able to attack, as he did against Babalu. But Starnes not able to do any countering when he's in retreat mode.
Chuck Liddell's timing is a difference, though. He'll plant, get off in an angle, and make his opponent pay. Caleb is just kind of going backwards without really sitting on his punches, just kind of throwing out a couple jabs and continuously going backwards. A very different movement.
Thousands in attendance here tonight and watching all around the world. And a good showing put on by Nate Corey.
Caleb Starnes just switched his stance. He just switched his stance. That lead leg is taking a beating. He's gone back to his old stance, but now he risks getting that leg beat up more. He did switch his stance, so obviously you can see it, the leg kicks are affecting him.
You know, it almost, again, it makes you wonder, is Caleb injured? Is he not injured badly, but not 100%? Is he ill? Because this doesn't look like the same Caleb Starnes that we saw against Belcher, Lieben, or even Okami when he lost in that fight.
You're right. I mean, I'm questioning whether you know, he was 100% for this fight. Was he injured? I'm not sure. If he's just trying to survive out there.
Great
and
point.
there it is. That knee almost came through. That's what Corey needs to do, is get a hold of that head, slow him down, keep him in front of him, and just take him out from there, because the movement of Starnes is just really frustrating for Corey right now.
The Ultimate Fighter 1 veteran Nate Corey dominant here tonight. Ultimate Fighter continues. Team Rampage versus Team Forrest. Wednesdays at 10 on Spike. Wednesdays and Fridays on Rogers Sportsnet right here in Canada. Check your local listings. Final 65 seconds.
Corey's measuring. Caleb at this point has to know that he's down on the judges' cards. I mean, he needs to do something major. Throw a big overhand right, something.
Look at the way that he moves now. Watch, focus in on the left lead leg. It's almost like he's moving with a limp, Kenny.
Absolutely. That's got to be hurting him at this point.
See that? See? You can get a good look at it.
He's not on the ball of his foot anymore. He's kind of stepping more flat now. And there it is again. That hurt him. That hurt him. Corey's got to finish him right here.
30 seconds remains in the fight. Oh, wow. Nate Corey.
I don't think we need to translate what that meant.
I know exactly what that meant. Can't come into the octagon and use the marathon technique.
I thought he was doing the running man, personally.
That would be the marathon technique.
Like
That's running.
Yeah.
Get it? Marathon, you run, Kenny. I can go slower if you want.
Corey
Joe Rogan would have got that.
Corey!
Wow!
Interesting technique by Corey. He's throwing hammer strikes. Corey just obviously frustrated. What a performance by Corey, though. He did everything possible to make that fight an exciting fight. Unbelievable. He's changed incredibly since his last fight, let alone the Ultimate Fighter.
Well, I think he told us the same thing that you told us. Not supposed to run or just be in a defensive mode, but Starnes was. And in all fairness to Caleb Starnes, very uncharacteristically he was.
There it is, Corey once again with those vicious leg kicks. I mean, he brought it. Listen to the crowd. The Canadian crowd is cheering for this guy, and he deserves it. Unbelievable.
Yeah, they love that, the running man. Now Starnes is ticked off. Now Starnes won't shake his hand. Nor is the corner of Caleb Starnes impressed. A little uncharacteristic of Nate Corey but comical nonetheless. And right now, Caleb Starnes is getting booed like Marcus Naslund of the Vancouver Canucks would. Here's the Bell Center. If he had just scored a hat trick against Les Habitants, the Montreal Canadiens. But if there's something to be said by Starnes, he's 15 minutes too late.
I did the best I could. I'm sorry.
Raise your hand. Put your hand up there. You did your thing. Right here.
Nate Quarry, very religious, raised a Jehovah's Witness, did not play any sports until later in life. Lost his father a few years ago, but he has a great heart and showed some great skills here this evening. As undoubtedly we are about to have the official announcement from Bruce Buffer of a unanimous decision victory. The Montreal crowd reacting to the man who's on the big screen. Now it's Starnes with boos. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. Doug Crosby scores the contest 30-26. Nelson Hamilton has it 30-27. And Pasquale Procopio scores it 30-24 for the winner.
Wow.
And Le Gagnant, Nathan Rock Quarry.
That may be the first 30-24 that we've had in UFC history. That is as unanimous as it comes. Here's Kenny.
How did you go from getting punched in the face to having this job? Because I want that job.
Nate Quarry, you won over this amazing crowd here in Montreal. Did you think it would turn into a road race like it did? I mean, you did everything possible to push this fight. How frustrated were you out there?
Well, you know, no disrespect to Caleb. It's tough when you come out here to fight. I know a few times I've been hit to get the hell out of there. So I didn't mean to disrespect him or his camp. He's a great guy. I came to fight. It's tough to land a shot when somebody's moving backwards on you. So I did the best I could. I apologize for not getting the finish.
Well, I don't think this crowd is faulting you for that. You brought everything you could. I mean, talk about your striking skills. I mean, since the last fight you showed, just phenomenal Muay Thai. You threw every strike in the book. Tell us about what you've been doing with your striking game. I was just incredibly impressed.
Well, I've got to put it all to my coaches. I'm just a lump of clay, and my Muay Thai coach, Jeremy Wires, Mr. Daniel Burke, boxing coach Leonard Trigg have worked on me so much on my hands and on my clinch that, you know, it can't help but go up because I started from nothing. So it's all credit to them.
Tell us about those kicks. Did you see that he was hurt with them? You obviously kept working that. He didn't really check them. You kept going with it. What'd you see out there?
I kept trying to land that hard 10 to the leg. I figured it would take some of his gas away, and it seemed to work. I should have been kicking him in the calves, I guess, so he couldn't move backwards as fast. But I did the best I could. I had so much great help coming up for this fight from the sports lab up in Portland, Oregon. Guys from New Jersey Martial Arts came out, some black belts in jiu-jitsu. Tim and Marco came out to work with me. It's just been an incredible camp.
Not only did you win this fight, you won over this crowd. Congratulations, Nate.
Well, when I first came into the camp, when I first came in, I heard some boos, and I didn't know how to feel like that. I was kind of like, yo, okay. But then as the fight went on, I figured if you can change, and I can change, anybody can change.
Good job, bro. Unbelievable.
And we thought that Mattserati was going to be Rocky IV. How good is that? Nate Quarry showing a ton of personality and great and improved Muay Thai skills in front of the original Ultimate Fighter, Forrest Griffin, here tonight. With his jersey Les Habitants, the Montreal Canadiens. Forrest Griffin set to take on none other than Rampage later for the title, but first things first, title fight tonight. Montreal's native son, George Rush St-Pierre, taking on Matt the Terra Serra. The crowd reacts even to a shot of Serra inside his locker room. He's angry today, determined to shock the world again. What do you think? Well, as the voting was earlier, 65-35, Kenny. Now it's 58-42.